Just so you can share in my pain. I don't know if people ever actually read my comments. Every comment I get, I feel like on my videos, you can tell these people don't even fucking watch the video and they just want to like hate me and pretend that I'm evil. Like I sharing my pain, we'll make a video out of this. Some of these guys, and wait till you get to the transgender comment, of course. You are insulting Daigo because he addressed another person's opinion while mistranslating what he said. Well, we already know this person didn't watch the video. Because the video I made, I said, I don't know what exactly the word for scrubby is. So let's forget that and let's focus on the idea that Street Fighter 6 would somehow be better if it was more rounds because that would prove you're more skillful. And I said, I bet he's going to use the Super Turbo example, right? Because you can just jump over a fireball. Wow, he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. And I said, well, guess what? What game can you not say if you play more matches, more rounds, whatever, you probably will find a more skillful player or some shit like that. But I was like, so it's like, wait, so why is it only Street Fighter 6? Why is it only Super Turbo? Why can't it be Street Fighter 3? Why can't it be Street Fighter 4? Why can't it be Guilty Gear? Why can't it be Soul Calibur? You could probably fucking say that for any game. You could probably say it for CVS2. And you're like, well, no, CVS2 takes too long, so that doesn't count. Why not? CVS2 is a game. I'm saying that argument is not good because you should just be calling the game out for the problems that it has. Right? Why don't we just do tournaments? Couldn't you actually say that tournaments would be better if they're just round robin? Because then you have to actually see who can play versus a variety of potential play styles and characters. Why don't we just do first to 10, round robin versus everybody? Guess what? It's not realistic. And like I said, it's like, look, what is this thing? Statistically, each time a simulation is done, the results gradually approach their true probability values. Okay, so again, why can't it be every game like I said? Are you agreeing with me, you fucking retard? Obviously, you didn't even watch the videos, you know? The only person who has to cope is whoever paid $60 for a game they both dislike and suck at after an open beta. This video is part of that core. Are you trying to insinuate that I paid for the game? Because I didn't. It was donated to me. I said I wasn't gonna get it. They both dislike and suck at. Well, I don't play the game, but I can say that I am the guy that predicted the game accurately how it was going to work. I am the guy that all these other tech lords then, after predicting how the game was going to work, then started doing what I said. I am the guy that has predicted how the game is playing in real matches. So I've done pretty well with that. I don't know. It's just, I just feel like, well, it's crazy to me, dude, the people that like hate me. Motherfucker's a mushroom. I don't know. Maybe he identifies as a mushroom tip. Probably. What is this other comment? Where's this fucking weird transgender fucking comment I got? Oh, I haven't responded. Where the fuck is this thing, dude? Oh, this Gwen person starts posting on my... Whatever, dude. Jesus, you're such a man-child. How can anyone listen to you? Anyway, all I see is the usual bigot cope, trying to cover his ass because he doesn't understand what he's being criticized for. I got trolled by the DMs by a Ren, which proves that the LGBTQ are the real villains of the story. Instead of just being open, trying to open a dialogue while you're using facts and logic, you're way out of the situation. I would say go outside. What is it? Is it like a joke that people say to go outside and touch grass? Is this like the guy that told me to go outside and touch grass while I was just living in Japan, traveling around, going to these different countries, while all he's done is played video games and he's never done anything? And again, you could see my comment. It's funny to me that apparently the LGBTQ wants you to believe that they only send naked pictures of themselves asking to sext with people as a troll. I can't think of myself ever asking for someone to send me naked pictures of them, send them naked pictures of myself as a troll. Do you normally try to have sex with people that you're trolling? Now I understand there's an idea of that for sure. Some people are manipulative and they would pretend that they like someone. You know what I mean? But certainly I would not assume that they would be sending, naked pictures of themselves while doing that. I mean, I would say that's a little bit more of a leap, I suppose it's anything is possible. I would not assume that normally after this, that when you are turned down, your reaction would be so extreme that you would start saying how unfriendly Clayton is and try to say that Clayton hates transgender people out of nowhere because of this interaction you had. I would not assume that you would make a GoFundMe after this interaction asking for money, saying that people hate you because you are transgender, blah, blah, blah. I would assume normally, if you are a good person, you would not get caught in a Discord trying to make up a say. And literally, it's fucking recorded, and the fucking video is there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, maybe we can say, Clayton hates gay people and try to get him to kill ourselves. So, yeah, if we do that, then people won't watch his videos, and then we will take his videos and post them as our own, which happened. I mean, but apparently I'm the villain. I would normally say I would encourage you to go outside, Gwen, but maybe you're so ugly, you fear going outside. Let me guess, is this the same person that who is that? I don't even remember their. It shows how much I can't even remember that one fuck. And what the thing is, dude, I hate calling people ugly because I don't like how I look, right? But I mean, legitimately, the only reason I can even say it, because if you're gonna talk about how beautiful you are, how you're like internationally known, or where the fuck they're, I can't believe what they fucking say. They're internationally known for their beauty, and everyone likes them for it. And I'm like, what? Who the fuck talks like that, dude? Do you know what I mean? Like, people say I have an ego. Who the fuck talks like they are widely known for their beauty when they fucking are just hideous? Oh my god, ridiculous. Oh, like I said, I cringe saying it because I don't like talking about people being ugly, because it's funny. It's funny actually. If I still had my webcam, I could show it. This one girl, she was trying to get me to make fun of this other girl. Actually, just recently, saying she was ugly, and I'm like, don't. I'm like, dude, don't ever send me that. I'm like, don't ever make fun of somebody in front of me like that again. I don't. That's not funny to me. So I actually don't really like that kind of stuff, but the only reason I even sort of agree to call out some of these people is because you're going to constantly talk about how fucking beautiful you are. Like, come on, man. Give me a break, dude. You're a fucking freak of nature. Ridiculous. But anyway, Jesus Christ. Anyway, apparently, yeah, and they're commenting on the Daigo video, doing baby talk because you can't form an argument, really. So basically, you can't form an argument, so you're saying that I said stuff that I didn't say. You're saying stuff that didn't happen. Who can't form an argument? I'm sorry that you probably jack off to Daigo. It says that video had nothing to do with Daigo's skill as a player. The video has to do with, why can't you actually just say that the game has problems? Why can't you just say that what is powerful in the game is too easy to do and you don't like it? It's just the trend of video game. People have always complained that I don't like this because this is too easy to do. I think this has too much of an influence on the match. I mean, like I said, there's years and years of me calling these games. There's a precedent for everything I've said. There's no, I do baby talk because I can't form an argument. I don't even think it's an argument, and I'm just telling facts. You guys make up stuff because you have no argument, so you have to make up something I didn't even say. Again, I would think that, Daigo, he should use his power, especially I think if you are a respected player, you should use your power to make the games better, right? Now, I don't know if Daigo is good at making video games. I've never had a conversation with him. I don't know his ideas for making a video game, but I can tell you that, again, I don't know what the word for scrubby is in Japanese. I only have a vague knowledge of Japanese in terms of fighting game lingo, because I generally don't read about fighting games in Japanese, So that's why I said in the video, let's forget just the word scrubby and let's try to focus on the idea that Street Fighter 6's problem is it's not enough rounds because I can't prove I'm better than the other person enough. And I'm like, well, guess what? That argument doesn't exactly work for Street Fighter 6 because it can technically work for anything. So you should just say that Street Fighter 6 has problems. It's like a fucking Swiss cheese argument because I'm like, well, there's a hole there, there's a hole there, there's a hole there, there's a hole there. And I've even said as well, you know, you could also say, guess what? You can take two good players playing each other, and sometimes those two good players will go on win streaks versus each other. Let's say that Daigo versus Tokido. Maybe Daigo won 5 times in a row. And now tournaments are 5 out of, or what would be 5 out of 7? 5 out of 4? 5 out of 9, or what would that be? I forget. Whatever the case is, right? Whatever the case, say he won 5 times in a row. And like, oh, Daigo's 5 times better than Tokido now, or some shit like that. You know, good players go on win streaks too. You know? So I just feel like the argument for wanting more rounds and more matches, it only sounds good at face value. It's a fairy tale argument. It sounds nice to think about that. I'm going to give a weird example, a very strange example. How about this? And maybe people are going to talk shit about me for this. I don't know much about Sonic Fox, so to speak, in Mortal Kombat. I've heard that he's a good player from what I understand. I don't know much about Perfect Legend. You know what I mean? I've heard that he's a good player in Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? But there's that thing that from what I know that Perfect Legend gets a lot of shit. Did Sonic Fox beat him like 13-0 or something? 10-0 or some shit like that? I don't know. And I don't know if one character is a counter character matchup or another. But I would assume, for sake of argument, and this isn't to talk shit about Sonic Fox or some shit like that, or hype up Perfect Legend or anything like that. I would assume that Sonic Fox beating Perfect Legend 10 times in a row and whatever they did, I would assume that Sonic Fox is actually not 10 times better than Perfect Legend. I would assume that Sonic Fox is, let's say, better than Perfect Legend, right? Does that make sense? The point is what I'm trying to get at is good players can lose a lot too. It happens. Everybody can lose. Like, that's why I tried to use that argument of, look at me and Mike Watson, right? Again, I don't really play video games anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know how much games he plays anymore. I mean, I'm sure, you know what I mean? He's more into the scene than I am. So his hands are still wet, so to speak, more than me. But, I don't think that he's out there practicing Alpha 1 or some shit. But what I was getting at with that is both me and him are competent at that game. And we recently got together and we played some sets of it. And if you actually look at our sets, I've gone on win streaks versus him. Now, if you say that there's a tournament, and you're like, oh, there's this tournament, this is good. You got to win the first, 3 out of 4 or something. Well, guess what? What if you just take one of those sets that me and him were playing, and you took that time that I beat him 5 times in a row? Would you say that I'm 5 times better than Mike Watson? No. Because guess what? You could probably pick another set where he beat me on a win streak. The point is, that's what I'm trying to get at, that it sounds nice in your head to be able to say that, oh, longer sets will always be better. But you know what? You can see longer sets, good people can lose too. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at. So what do you want to have every tournament be a round robin so we can see how your skill applies to every different kind of play style? It's just not realistic. The realistic thing is you need to better develop video games. That's the problem. When you make video games so easy that everyone can do anything, of course that a good player is going to lose to something, especially if the game is all designed around it. Like I said, Street Fighter 6, you know what I mean? It's funny to me that I said Street Fighter 6, you have the most different, let's say, Ken and Ryu, the most different Ken and Ryu ever, so to speak. You know what I mean? But guess what? The system is still the most important part about the game. Slimer. We're all using the system the same way. You know what I mean? I've already done in-depth videos about how Street Fighter 6 was going to turn out, and it did. The system is more important, you know what I mean, is what they're focusing on. And if the system is so easy to, let's say, manipulate, The system, which is so important in the game, is so easy to use. Well, of course, you're going to see quotation marks good players lose to quotation marks not as skilled players because they can do the same shit as you. You know what I mean? Your argument is almost like, well, maybe in a long set, it's almost like your argument is almost in a long set. I'm going to assume that this quotation marks lesser player will not know how to adapt. But I, as a quotation marks better player, have the ability to adapt. That's what you're basically you're praying for. You're praying that, so to speak, that, well, I know that I'm a veteran, I'm a better player, quotation marks, and that I have that ability to adapt. So now you're trying to say that my skill in the video game is that I can adapt better. Maybe I can't play this character better. Maybe I can't do this combo better. Maybe I can't whiff punish better, blah, blah. But maybe if we keep playing a set, I will find a way to adapt or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, what are you getting at? Like it's so far down the line of like, it's very wishful thinking. It's a very thin argument to me. It's just kind of like, I don't know, just point out the game that what is powerful in the game, what is usable in the game is too easy to get into. You're making it you should not, a game, again, I've already said before, Street Fighter 2, one of the most popular video games of all time. That game didn't hold your hand. That's not a popular fighting game. That was one of the most popular video games of all time, one of the most important games of all time, and it didn't hold your hand. I've made I guess it gets boring talking about the same shit. Anyway, these videos are too long. I said all this shit. People can't argue it. It's like, bro, come on. You can't even watch the video. You just have to like post on my, which I should say. I should actually say, just because you haters do know that when you actually comment on my videos, it actually helps the algorithm because it makes it look like there's more conversations going on in the videos. So technically, in a way, you're helping me and you're making yourself look stupid and proving me right even more so. But anyway, yeah, the end.